Bourbon. Belts. Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
1, 2, 3. Welcome back to the Triple B Podcast. Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Tim.
No cool name today.
No, I didn't want to make you
still
feel
don't
bad.
have one.
Didn't want to make you feel bad this week.
All right, we're back. We're talking bourbon. We're talking wrestling. We're talking movies and shows and things and fun and good and gink. And yeah, I don't know what that last word was. I didn't gink. Whatever.
We're going to talk about it, though.
Yeah,
so
we are.
We just did.
We just did. Here we go. Timmy, it was your cash in this week.
Yes, it was.
And we're kind of slinging it back to the good old days of a little bit more of a live reveal on the show.
He didn't get to see this one.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know what it is yet, and I'm very excited.
Which is crazy because I literally pulled the bottle right over his head and tucked it into
He did.
this
He
spot.
did.
All while he was right there. So
Yep.
it shows how much he pays attention to me.
Well, in my
We've been
defense,
married for a long time.
In my defense, I was editing and posting our cash in TikTok, which you can find on our socials. We'll get to here in just a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Foreshadowing.
So, let's get right into it. Ryan,
What do we
I
got
got a exciting one, I think.
Oh,
I'm excited for
I just
it.
clapped like a fucking seal. This is fucking goddamn it.
Ryan, behind this handy dandy championship belt, we got a glass bottle of bourbon.
I see a corner, and I'd want to take a guess. Can I take a guess?
Yeah,
Because I
sure.
just saw just the corner and a shape.
Yeah.
Is it a Woodenville?
It is.
I knew it just off the corner of the bottle. We're
So-
getting good at this, Tim.
So at Total Wine, they had a special on this bad guy. We got Woodenville straight bourbon whiskey finished with toasted applewood staves.
Yes.
This is 100 proof. And going back to the back of this truly small batch bourbon starts with a traditionally grown corn, rye, and malted barley. The grains are mashed, distilled, and barreled in our Woodenville distillery, then trucked back over the Cascade Mountains to our private barrel houses, where Central Washington's extreme temperature cycles promote the extraction of natural flavors from the oak. After the whiskey has fully matured, we add staves of toasted applewood. This applewood finishing process adds depth and richness with aromas of apple and berry on the nose and palate on top of the traditional bourbon notes of rich caramel, dark chocolate, and vanilla bean with a sweet, lingering finish. Sounds awesome,
My
right?
mouth's watering.
I saw applewood. I read the little blurb on the shelf, and I was like, "We gotta have this."
Yes.
this-
I'm very excited for this. I don't know that Woodenville has ever done me wrong on a bourbon.
No.
And I'm already telling you it's going to be a high one.
That was a good pop.
That was.
And for
Good Lord, Timothy.
those of you
You just
that don't know,
backhanded our bourbon.
Woodenville is local here in Washington, and talks about Central Washington, where we met once upon a time.
Yes,
So
once upon a go.
here,
I don't think that's how you say it, but whatever. Here, let me slide that closer to you.
just-
Make her a little easier for you. Oh yeah.
that was good. I think we're pretty even right there.
I think you poured that. You poured that well.
All right,
You may have given me a nip hair more, but I'm not mad about it.
cheers, man.
Cheers, dog. Excited. I'm gonna smell it first.
Oh, I definitely smell the apple.
Oh shit!
Could definitely get the apple in there.
Just smells delightful.
Oh.
Damn, that is full flavor.
Coats the mouth.
Coats the mouth. Has a great like through and through from the second it hits your nostrils as you're drinking, because you breathe in. As you're drinking, you smell it. And it hits your tongue, goes over all the way over your tongue, down the throat, to party in the belly. And boy, is that a party.
And it's leaving like a little tingle at the front of your tongue.
Oh my God.
And it's the tip of the tongue. It's like you get that apple flavor, but then like your whole mouth kind of tastes cherryish. It definitely, that pops through.
Oh my Lord. That's a 10. That's a 10 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
That is a 10 out of 10. That, hands down, that is fantastic. That is so good. That might, like, I know we gave one an 11 because it was a nice ass bottle of bourbon.
It was.
She was a spendy one, but for a, did you say how much the
it was
tag was on there?
$89.99. That was the special. I think it's usually over $100 for this one.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
And so yeah, after Washington tax, it was like 106. So
Okay.
but
I was gonna say for not one that's not as spendy, but that's a good price for it. That's right up there. That might be the best bourbon we've had on the show. It might be my favorite.
Yeah, it's got a really rounded flavor.
It's
to
really
it. Like,
good.
Just
Yeah. And the burn, like there's that tingle on the tongue and there is a burn, but the burn is so like welcoming. Mm-hmm. Is the only way I know how to describe that. Like
100%.
It's like, I want that.
Yeah.
It's not in a bad way in any way, shape, or form. It's like perfectly sweet, perfectly toasty, perfectly smoky.
yeah.
Oh my Lord. I'm going in again.
Me too.
Fuck.
Yeah,
that's good, dude.
That's really good.
Good fucking pick.
Hell yeah.
Ah!
I was really.
I'm gonna let out just a real. I'm gonna go away from the mic for a second. Just yes, I loved it. Had to just get that inner, that animalistic just sense like fuck yeah, that was good, man. That's nice. I'm very happy with that. It's been a week. And like goods and not bads, but like little slight lows
and flow.
Yeah. Oh, and that, what a way. God darn.
That it's got to be a good bourbon if we're lingering on talking about it this long.
Yeah,
so
for real.
It's really good.
For real.
That brings us to our socials.
Where you can find this week's Cash In video.
On our Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, we are at Trip B Pod, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We are the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters. And of course, you can shoot us an email at triplebpod619@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts on the episodes. Give us questions. Give us bourbon ideas, movie ideas. You name it. Come on. Give us some shout outs. Make sure to subscribe, like, do all that jazz for our episodes.
Absolutely.
Ryan, it's your fact check during our Bourbon Talk.
It is my Bourbon Talk fact check. I will be completely honest with you here. There's one thing that I'm starting to feel like it's like a Mandela effect on myself. I did part of this whilst driving on Tuesday home from my tennis match.
Okay.
And was not on a part of the road that I probably should have been doing this, right? Like where I'm listening, because I don't know how you do it. Because like you edit the thing, so I don't know if you fact check during the editing process. No, you do it later. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your process is for it. Mine is like I listen to it, and as things come up on the show, I then just type those into my notes, and then I go back and check them later.
Oh yeah, that's how I do
Okay, so same, yeah. And I was driving, and while something popped up, and I typed it into my notes while driving, mind you. All right, still alive, no wrecks, nothing bad there. But when I looked back at it later, typos like a motherfucker. I don't even know if it was typos or just autocorrect changed almost all of the words that I put in.
Yeah.
because I have no idea what the fuck it was. I have no idea. I can't remember what part of the show it was in. I've gone back and re-listened. I have no idea what it was, but what it said was, did Darling got the first? That's what was typed into my notes. And I'm like looking at the keyboard on my phone, trying to figure out like what was close. And then I couldn't find it. So there's one thing on the show that was enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I need to put that on there.
Yeah.
But then re-listening, I have no idea what the fuck it was. I re-listened to it 2 more times throughout the week to try to figure out what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And finally, on my way down here today, I just deleted that from this because I was like, I tried. I don't know what it was. I don't know where it was. I could not find it again. So that's why I'm like, is that a Mandela effect thing? Did I not hear something? And maybe I was typing something else and I typed that and then I just hit enter and I thought I deleted it and I don't know. So if there's something from the show last week that I don't cover in the few points I have today, my apologies. Because I tried. Any hoozle.
Darling, go first.
Yeah. So did Darling got the first? I was like, what the fuck did I write? Anyways, so first 2 things are connected. The very first one, we're talking obviously about Cena and Orton because that's the big one right now. And we're just talking about their debuts, like how long ago, like how long this feud essentially has been on. Obviously on and off, and we were like they debuted. We were like they debuted right around the same year. If not, it was like late one year, early one year. We were right originally in saying they debuted the same year. They both debuted in 2002.
Yeah. Okay.
John Cena's June 27th, 2002, and then Randy Orton was 2 months and 2 days before that, April 25th, 2002. Okay. Then going on to the next piece was. We had the conversation. Oh God, I really typoed a lot in this. This one I know what I'm saying though. We also were then having the conversation about like at what point did Cena go part-time?
Yeah,
because we're the whole Orton's been here the whole time. Cena hasn't.
Yeah,
2017/18. I can't find like a concrete like everything I was finding was like different dates and stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense because it's not like nobody announces I'm part-time now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but it was like 2017, 2018 is kind of official.
Oh, okay.
But he started stepping away in 2015.
Okay.
Right. So like
is that what you said?
No, I said like 12 years ago.
Right.
You actually 10. Are the one that you were like probably more like 10. So you were more correct on that. But yeah, because I guess 2015 was when he kind of started to get more acting gigs.
Okay.
And so it was like he'd go away to film something, but then he'd come back, you know? But so I don't know. Because I mean, like The Miz has done that. Orton's done that. Like so many have done that thing, you know? To where I don't know if you would call that technically part-time yet or not. So I like 2017, 18 is like officially when it was like obvious he is a part-time wrestler now. He's no longer full-time.
Yeah.
These 2 next things are just we're just damn good at our jobs, Timmy.
Oh, okay.
And they're both things that happened on Raw this week that were things that you called on the WrestleMania match, and then I called, or sorry, on the WrestleMania show, I called on last week's episode for a different time frame, but I still called it nonetheless.
Yeah.
And so Sami Seth, that was my first feud for WrestleMania next year was Sami, and for the reasoning that this happened. Yeah. That was why I put this, because I was like, he's literally saying what I said on the show.
Yep.
So just the whole like Seth looks like he's kind of forming his own bloodline-esque type faction thing. And Sami kind of called him out on that. And that was my reasoning for having that be the feud next year. So that was cool. And then yours was during the WrestleMania podcast. You had mentioned like when, or I think it was during WrestleMania itself. I don't think it was on the show necessarily, but I think we had then referenced it in, I think, the post show and then last week's episode. And you had just said like, when's Pat McAfee going to get back in the ring? And then we had what occurred 2 2 weeks ago on
Yeah.
Monday, and then we talked about it again last week, and then we had what occurred on Monday.
Yep.
Which is that one of your talking points at all?
It is. So,
Okay, so yeah, we'll leave it. I'll just say I actually didn't put that on. So if you didn't, we would say it right now, but we don't need to. But yeah, so we called the in-ring, or you called the in-ring return of Pat McAfee.
Hell yeah.
We also then were talking about the movie Him, talking about how just like you can, that there are kind of easily noticeable horror elements in the topic of like being in your late 20s and your career is already on the downhill slide, and then getting into, you know, your early to mid 30s and your career's over.
Yeah.
Right. So then it was just, I was just curious, because then I had said like that's not the way that is necessarily in most other sports, right? And so then I was just curious about the average retirement age for a professional sport. So I looked up like the 5 main professional sports, right?
Okay.
Baseball, football, hockey, soccer, basketball. Okay. The average retirement age for the NFL is 27.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's young.
And and it seems really young. I think even more so because we're so used to like seeing quarterbacks and receivers
Yeah.
play much later than that.
True.
You know, I mean, like Tom Brady was winning Super Bowls in his early 40s.
Yeah.
You know, but that's only 2 positions.
That's true.
That's the thing, you know, like D linemen, offensive linemen, a lot of defensive players, because they get the shit beat out of them, right? Offensive linemen, tight ends, even running backs get the shit knocked out of them. Yeah, so I'm like 27. That actually makes sense.
Yeah,
because you do have a lot of people retire around then, you know.
Yeah,
or within those latter few years of their 20s, and that is the earliest. Of all of the sports that I found. Right. The MLB is 30, but you have a much higher percentage of players likely to play into their late 30s, into their 40s, and then even some into their 50s in the MLB have played. There's that. The NBA is 37 is the average.
Is that the highest, or?
The NBA, the NHL, surprisingly, and FIFA are all very close. FIFA's 35 to 37. And then at the NHL, I didn't get like a concrete number. All I saw was just like mid to late 30s. So yeah, they're all right in that area. Which the NHL hockey is kind of crazy to me to think like those motherfuckers are like their career spans are
they're padded up so
I know,
much.
but dude, they get absolute fucking shit knocked out of them.
And they're on skates.
I know. So I was like, how the fuck do your ankles hang up? Like, hold up like that. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to think about, because I was like, we were talking about it and I said it, and then while I was thinking about it we were talking about it last week, I was like, I feel like the NFL has to be the earliest. And they are.
Yep.
They are. And it also is interesting to think too, because if I'm not mistaken, they're the only ones that play once a week too.
Yeah.
Every other sport plays at least twice a week. Baseball will play fucking 4 games in a row. 5, in a row, have one day off, and then play another 4-game series. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense to me? Baseball is way less impactful on your body than all of the other sports.
Yeah,
a lot more standing, right?
And you can rotate.
Also might be the hardest skill fucking sport though too. But
for sure.
Baseball, like certain aspects of baseball.
How do you hit a baseball
going at you fucking 102 miles an hour is fucking insane. Baseball players are wild.
I have a hard enough time catching a ball like in a mitt. So
I know. But yeah, like hockey they usually play, I think, at least 2 a week.
I want to say.
Yeah.
I might have to fact check
Basketball definitely does. Basketball will play multiple games in a week. And then soccer's the one that I don't know. I'm not sure.
That one might be a 1 a week.
Because there's so much fucking running involved.
But sometimes they do like double headers too, I think.
Yeah, I don't know with soccer. Soccer, I know nothing about soccer.
I'll check it out.
Very little. But anyways.
Fact checking the fact check.
And then the last thing I had on here was during our, I think it was the Blockbusters question of the week last week. My second movie that I said for it about what like the best opening scene was Scream, and I had said like, you know, you had like one of the number one leading ladies in Drew Barrymore in the early 90s, or I guess late 90s, right? Mid 90s, 96, yeah. Mid 90s, then getting killed off in like the first 3 minutes or whatever. And that's what I, not verbatim, but essentially what I said. I was a little, I jumped the gun a little bit on the time frame.
Oh, God.
She dies within the first 10 to 15 minutes.
But still. Still.
I couldn't find the timestamp just like Googling it, but...
Should have just asked me. Rewatch Scream, and I'll be like, okay.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
On it.
Tell me exactly the minute and seconds mark Drew Barrymore dies. When was her last breath? But yeah, so it's still within the first 10 to 15 minutes, which is obviously in the opening sequence.
Still very impactful.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got for the fact check.
Like it.
It was a solid one. I enjoyed the sports one because that was just thing that I've never really thought of before. So it was just, I thought it was interesting to look those up.
So we got a TikTok challenge here.
Fuck me.
And we got to act out these
I've seen this.
emojis.
God
so
damn it.
I'm going to go first, and then we just trade off on every
How you've been practicing these, haven't you?
No.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
No.
Likely story. Tim.
Except for the first one. So, the fuck challenge. You just say the fuck in these emoticons. So, ready? Gotta act these out.
The fuck, Tim. The fuck.
That's not your emoji. All right. The fuck?
God damn it. Okay. The fuck? The fuck?
The fuck?
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was a good people's eyebrow, too. I like that. Turned me on a little bit. I'm going to get animated. The fuck?
Oh, shit. I'm scared.
I should have moved the mic away from my mouth probably a little bit on that. It's going to be distorted as shit. The fuck? That was good. That was good. That was good shivers. The fuck?
Well done. I told you to put your acting chops on. Okay. The fuck? Yeah.
That was good. That was good. I like that one. That was good. I like that. The fuck?
Oh, God, I should have gave you this next one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The fuck?
Da fuck. That was good. I like that.
And that was the fuck challenge.
I like that. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
All right, you awake now?
That. Yeah, I'm good to go. I think the angry da fuck really awoke me. I'm good to go.
Lay off the bourbon over there.
I liked that. I like that. No, fuck that. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more.
Well, Ryan, that brings us to
Belt
The fuck?
The fuck? Hell yeah, doggy. Well, Timothy, what do you want to talk about on this fine ass Saturday?
I got to talk about Becky Lynch, Lyra.
It's the first thing on my list, too.
Becky
Check.
admits to attacking Bailey. I really love this.
Me too.
Because the trope of mystery attacker has been done over and over again.
No, and I was really worried that we were gonna just like this is gonna get drug on. So I'm really happy. This made me so happy. Becky just said, "Fuck you guys, it was me." I was like, yes. Oh, that was great.
Absolutely loved it. I even kind of buy her reasoning for it. She said Bailey's been attacking her since 2019, and she has been. So
that's very accurate.
It was refreshing. That was refreshing. And then Lyra comes out and gives hell of a promo.
Oh my god.
This was Lyra's best promo to date.
It was so good.
It was passionate. It was real. It felt good. And I would say this is legit the first legitimate feud for the IC or US title for the women's.
Yeah. This
feels like big time. Like it's making it feel meaningful.
Legit, feels huge. I think it's perfect for the IC. Becky is perfect for the IC. And I love that it's like she's away for almost a year and she comes back and they're not just throwing her into the world title picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're having her come back and help make this women's IC fucking relevant within the first, 6-7 months of it being a thing, right? Like that's so cool. Yeah. I love that. Lyra's amazing. She is phenomenal in the ring. She's great on the mic, but this was over the top amazing.
Yeah.
Like them back and forth was so good, and the fact that there's so much deeper, like more deepness to it, with the fact that they're like, they're probably the two most known Irish women's competitors in the WWE ever, if not like, well, I guess they're definitely not the only ones, but they're definitely the most known.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And so I feel like that even then, like, you would think like, hey, camaraderie. Nope. Becky said, fuck that shit. You picked her side. And like the whole thing, I loved it. I just loved the story with Bailey, and then Lyra, like Becky dragging Lyra into it was perfect. And then Lyra coming out and giving her side of all of it. And like people talk about you in the back. It was like, whoa, this is good. I
was glued to the screen. It was perfect. This is what the women's division needs, and I think we could agree. We were like not sold on what was going on in the women's division leading into WrestleMania.
For sure, we
got a mid-card title like right up. It feels important. It feels important. So really excited about that.
Same. Going on a little bit of a repeated tangent here, Timmy, and I feel like you might know.
I think I might know. Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
The DQ finishes?
Bruh.
It happened a lot this week. The past week.
The fuck. It really sucks, man, because we have had, since WrestleMania, in the last 2 weeks of wrestling, we have had such good fucking matches.
Great matches.
Like some of the best matches that they have put on these live TV shows in a while, completely ruined by the finish of the match. Yeah. And I know it's hard to say like, oh, you can't let that take away from what they're accomplishing in the ring, but it does. Like it's the LA Knight Damian Priest match last night was fucking killer, and that was the one that put it over the top for me. And that's why I was like, I know I've talked about this before, and I've bitched about it before, and I know me bitching about it's not gonna fucking change anything. But it seriously is such a bummer, because that match was so good, and their fucking promo to start the night was so good. To have Solo's bitch ass come out and ruin it, in a segment that, like, now that you get the fucking fatal 4-way set up and they're pushing the fact that like Solo's kind of he's being shady to Jacob, and like they're pushing that angle and like that eventual breakup between them. But good God, man, like at the moment when it happened, it just feels so random for Solo to be the one that comes out and interferes in this, which I know right before that, at the opening of the show, you had Damian Priest and them confronting each other. So
but
like,
still, I get your point.
But it just in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't make sense in that exact finite moment. Sure, but it's just like, God damn, dude, like what is the story here? And I get now that they're pushing. So Solo's the one that fuck Jacob into a fatal 4-way now instead of just a triple threat. Now it's a fatal 4-way, right? But it just, I don't like that. I don't like that angle. I don't like that angle they're pushing because Jacob doesn't give a shit. That's the thing. He doesn't give a fuck who he's facing. That's his entire fucking persona. Yeah. So that angle doesn't make sense to me either. Yeah. And to just have that match, the fucking EO and Stephanie Vaquer match last week and in DQ. Help me out, though. There was another one on Raw this week, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Fuck.
I mean, I guess Sami and Braun really didn't end, but that wasn't a DQ. Roxanne and Rhea ended in DQ.
Oh, yeah. Roxanne and Rhea. That was a good match again.
Yep.
Like, that was another good match that ended in fucking DQ. And I don't know, man. It sucks because they're doing such good things. And like I mentioned last week, it's like I get the idea of like you want to protect people and the characters and like the storylines that they're in and stuff. But at some point, somebody has to fucking lose.
You can't protect everyone.
You can't protect everyone all the time. And like it's okay for people, even your top dogs, to take an L.
Yeah.
It's okay for that to happen. Like you could have had Rhea take the L there. That would have actually pushed the fucking narrative even further with her. You know? I don't know. It just, fuck, dude. It just pisses me off, man. And like that match last night I was like livid sitting there watching that last night. I was so fucking irritated and just steamed.
And I'll say, I think that kind of just took the steam from SmackDown too. Like, it wasn't a very good SmackDown at all.
It wasn't. It really wasn't.
Probably one of the worst, and I think that just led the way for it. Just that part. I'm going to build off of yours just because I have part of that as a talking point, and just
okay.
It's interesting that Drew technically, yes, won the number one contender, but he wasn't even going to be in the U.S. title match.
I know.
With Nick Aldis talking about it, and then so it took Solo reminding him about that.
Yeah.
Like,
which makes no sense.
And I complained about that before, where it happened with, I thought LA Knight was the number one contender for the U.S. title against Shinsuke, and he had to re-earn it again. You know?
And then last week, he should have had his rematch, and he got put into a number one contendership match. Yeah. So it's just super inconsistent. That definitely was like, where the fuck's Drew? If anyone should have ended that match in DQ last night, it should have been Drew.
Yeah, that would have pushed the narrative.
That would have at least made sense. You know? Like, that makes sense. Then Drew is the one that causes it to be a fatal 4-way and lessen his chance and likelihood of winning the U.S. That makes 100% sense for like the last 2 years of Drew McIntyre's character arc, right? Like, he keeps fucking himself. That has been his entire fucking thing, and blaming other people. That would have made more sense.
Yeah.
You know?
The one thing I did like about the Solo thing, and you kind of alluded to it, was you're screwing over Jacob by putting him in a fatal, and Nick little,
you are. Yeah, he said, no, Solo. You are, and then just walks away.
That was refreshing too. That was like, no one ever gets called out on that. Like, it leads to other things in the storyline usually, but no one ever like points it out. Yeah, and Nick Aldis did last night, and I was like, I like that.
Me too. I did like that as well.
But no, I agree.
But was not worth the ruining SmackDown.
And then Jacob Fatu, I like his like no care in the world. Like, he's gonna be pushed as a monster face, and I think that is just one more block. He doesn't care who he faces,
and I think the part that made that whole thing worse for the entirety of SmackDown was, now obviously this is kayfabe because this was obviously it was planned to happen this way, right? But that was supposed to be our main event, was Damian Priest versus LA Knight, right? And then they have the promo and they're going at each other, and then it gets put in the opening match. Cool, sweet. But then to do that, have it end the way it did, just completely fuck up that entire match and situation, and then have the main event replaced by what the fuck it was replaced by? Are you fucking kidding me?
I knew you'd be a fan of that.
That is literally what ruined that. Like, it ruined SmackDown last night. It did.
I did not like any of SmackDown.
This is my next talking point, so I'm happy it literally flowed right into each other.
Bouncing off each other here.
It's never a good... This is literally what I wrote. All right, this is verbatim. Never a good show when it finishes with Naomi standing tall. Said, how is it that how is it that it's these other three that we're putting Tiffany up against? Like, even Jade, I'm sorry, she's not there yet.
Yeah.
She's not world title worthy. She's held the fucking tag championship in really fucking spotty situations once. And she hasn't even gone for one of the mid-card titles yet.
Yeah.
Like, and she has not proven her worth as a fucking legitimate competitor in the ring yet. She keeps having issues in every one of her matches. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, what the fuck? Nia Jax could have done without her ever coming back. She's fucking terrible. She's dog shit. She's terrible on the mic. She's bad in the ring. And then Naomi. We've covered this. I said, we've got to do better. Tiffany deserves better. She deserves better as a fucking champion. She does. She is going, we're putting her on this trajectory of just having a very easily forgotten title run.
Kind of like Bayley's last year.
Yeah, Bayley's last year, because of the opponents that we're giving her. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, SmackDown has more options than this. And if they don't, fucking correct it.
What's crazy about that is Bayley's opponents were Nia Jax.
Yeah.
In her lackluster title run last year.
Yeah.
So,
like, I don't understand how is Nia all of a sudden right back into this?
Yeah. She
had her rematch and lost. She should be fucking in a fucking cellar somewhere waiting her turn again.
Oh.
Right? Like, if you are the champion and you lose and you have your rematch immediately and lose,
that puts you at the back of the line.
You should be at the back of the fucking line.
And have to earn your way back.
Use
that mid-card title.
You disappear. Exactly.
Use it for that purpose.
And don't give it to Nia Jax.
No, don't. Please.
Send her to AEW.
No.
Sorry. I don't watch it, so I'm good with it.
No.
Send her to... This is just for laughs. AAA. Let's see if she can become a lucha libre.
Hey, she was doing some turnbuckle moves.
Goddamn reinforced steel corners.
I agree with everything you're saying. I will say this is just a very loose giving her flat. But Jade, last week against Tiffy, it started off really rough. But the match was coming together, but then ended in DQ.
But that's what I'm saying is, how many matches do you see Rhea go through? How many matches do you see Becky go through? She just fucking came back from almost a year away. You haven't really seen rough from her.
Agreed.
She's looked fantastic.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying is, Jade has been fucking...
She needs to go for the mid-card. That's where she needs to be right now.
And we shouldn't be having that conversation where, the match started rough, but it got better.
Yes. No, I agree.
With someone like Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. No, as
your opponent. Like
100%
someone
agree.
like Nia or Naomi as your opponent. Yeah, the whole fucking thing's rough because they suck. Mm-hmm. Straight up. They are not good. Yeah. Naomi's character now is a lot better with the villain, but it's also very cringy at points too. Mm-hmm. Last week, fine, but proceed with caution, and walked away like, the fuck? Right?
Hey, you got the peak one down.
yeah.
That was good.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm fucking over. I'm over it. I'm over the DQs. I'm over the fucking
Naomi, Nia.
the Naomi Nia. The fucking like, give Tiffany Stratton something better. You put her first fucking. Well, I guess the first title defense was against Nia Jax in the rematch, but I don't count that. You've put her first legit feud in title fucking title defense against Charlotte Flair. Some people want to argue the greatest of all time. That was boring as fuck. The majority of it.
The hype up.
Was
the match
boring.
was good.
The match was the match was solid.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. The match was solid. But a good portion of the match being solid is because of Tiffany Stratton. Let's fucking get Tiffany Stratton somebody. Bring up fucking Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, I don't get why Raw is getting
Bring up Roxanne
Julia
Perez.
and Roxanne and Stephanie on Raw, but SmackDown is neglected.
Yeah, and it's very similar to the tag situation on Raw, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes. Fraxium could have been on
prop
Raw.
them both up.
Yeah.
Or send fucking Rey Fenix to Raw with his brother, who are the Lucha Bros. Arguably one of the greatest tag teams on the face of the planet, right? Like, let's even the shit out. You don't need to have one brand's like, oh, this is our women's brand, and then this one is our tag team brand. No, have them be the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Different storylines, creative team. Let's fucking talk about that. But have them be even.
Yeah.
So that you have a fucking badass champion at Tiffany Stratton with actual legitimate opponents. Not someone who the most they can do is hobble across the ring because they're too fucking big to run, slam their booties into people. And then someone else with a booty too goddamn big to run, slamming her booty into people. Fuck!
The fuck.
I digress. I don't know if that's the appropriate time to say that or not, but
Well, we had a good volley going of bouncing off each other, but I'm bringing it back to Raw. Pat McAfee gave hell of a promo. It felt you alluded to it last week, and it's not real attacking, but
Yeah.
it's feeling real.
it feels real.
It feels real.
And
That
his
was a very
100
real promo.
Oh my god, his promo was. I was like,
It was like
let's go.
It was like a fan getting up on the table,
Yeah, dude.
and just speaking from the heart.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. It was incredible. Raw killed it with promos. It was just bar none. They had
Raw was
three
all around.
really.
Raw was all around. I think solid. Too.
Yeah.
like
Yes.
the matches and everything. I think were pretty good.
Yeah.
outside of the DQ finish.
but very solid promo from
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I know I read a lot of people just saying Pat needs to go away, blah 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 blah. But I really enjoyed it. I'm actually looking forward to this because
Yeah.
you know, he's fun on the mic. You could tell he's having a fun time. He's bringing that out. And Michael Cole on announcing, and then I've seen him wrestle in NXT, and he does a good job. You know,
Yeah.
and so. He's probably going to get killed from
my
Gunther.
God.
He's going to get smashed, but it's going to be a good watch, and there's story into it. And that promo that he gave really just hypes that up to this level. I think what they're doing on Raw post Mania is better than any storyline going into Mania itself on anything.
I agree with you 100%. I think, and I'm gonna counter one of the things you just said. I think Pat McAfee wins.
Do ya? I
think Pat McAfee wins this match due to some form of interference. But I think it's going to be something that just continues to push this narrative of Gunther spiraling. That's what I think. Why else would you set this up to just have Pat McAfee get fucking brutalized?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like this is more of. It's less about McAfee. It's more about
building Gunther.
It's more about building Gunther. And I think like from the top, you have to have him fucking crash and burn from the IC run and then into the world heavyweight run that he had. I think you have to have him just fucking crash and burn to then have him just tear back through the fucking roster back to the top.
True. Could it be Goldberg? He did have that interaction with him at Bad Blood, I want to say.
That could be interesting.
But
fuck, I didn't even think about that.
He called him Bill Goldberg. And he was chirping at him in the crowd. And he was
talking shit about his kid.
Yeah, it was Bad Blood because it was in Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's a good pull. That's a good pull. I wouldn't even think about who it was. I was thinking it could have been like Jay. Yeah. Even. True. Right? But also at the same time, like we don't need to re-spark that rivalry.
Exactly.
Because it's over now. So
that would be interesting, and it would. I know there's been rumors of Goldberg getting an actual retirement match, so
that'd be a good one.
That could be it. That would be like a fitting retirement match, Gunther Goldberg. So,
and that could be another way to continue that downward spiral is having Goldberg win the retirement match.
Because I don't know the statistic, and I will not be able to find it. I don't think. I'll try, but they've given Gunther, like, he's been probably the most winningest superstar on the main roster.
Hasn't he only been pinned 3 times now?
I think so. He's been a champion like 80% of the time he's been on the main roster. So I'm pretty sure it was Sami Jay.
Twice. Because wasn't Sami like one of his first losses? And then Sami beat him for the IC.
No, Chad won against him in like a no count out.
No, but I mean pinned. I'm talking pinned. I think he's only been pinned.
No, it was Sami, Cody, Jay. I think it's
Sami,
3 times.
Cody, Jay. It's only 3 then?
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if Jay was the 4th. I thought before Sami he had been pinned once. And I thought that was part of the build with Sami It was Sami saying that he's afraid because he's beat him before.
That was leading into their world heavyweight title match.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Get my wires crossed there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 3 times.
Okay. But
Cody
still.
Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. I like the idea of Gunther just going on a spiral and having to build his way back up. That's a...
Oh, but Jay didn't pin him. Jay submitted him.
That's true, but he still took a loss. He's only lost 4 times.
Since he's
Count
been
out a submission and 2 pins.
I hope... you might know this, actually, so that's why I'm asking. I'm not trying to add more to a fact check. How long has Gunther been on the main roster?
So WrestleMania 39 was his first, and I think he came up that year.
WrestleMania 39 was his first WrestleMania,
yeah,
so that was
right
3 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So 2022-ish?
Yeah. I'll fact check,
maybe late 21, depending on when in that season of wrestling, WrestleMania to WrestleMania, he did debut on the main roster. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fucking solid to only lose 4 total fucking times in that amount of... in 3.5 years.
And I think they've teased his downward spiral even leading into WrestleMania where like just with Damian Priest, he was
seeing him
scared
with
Damian Priest, and then
seeing the facial expressions the promo against Jay,
he was just
recognizing that like, oh fuck. Yep.
So
the
fuck. Yeah, that was
I'm gonna bounce right off of you,
all right,
with a fire fucking promo on Raw, and I'm gonna go to one of the highlights of SmackDown, which was Randy Orton's fucking promo.
Hey, I got that too.
Randy's promo. This was, dude, and we've seen him in some fucking feuds over the last 2 years, right? Obviously, the most recent one with KO.
Didn't get finalized, but
it was a feud. It was a build. They were back and forth. It was good. This was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It started, and I loved just the like start to finish trajectory of it, because it started just very casual almost, right? Like very calm and collected, and it got it, and it fucking just escalated into him just fucking beat red, veins popping out, fucking just angry.
Talking right at the camera.
Oh my God, man. That was so good.
It was
great.
I was honestly
It's the title of our episode.
Yeah.
Right?
That was the only highlight from SmackDown for me. I mean, there was good matches. Yes.
Fraxium again.
Yeah.
Is always fun to watch, and that was a good match.
It was good, but there was still there was just some things in that match that kind of just was like,
well, that's what
one of the guy got hurt and forgot to kick out, and then looked
that was awkward, but yeah,
but
he took a fucking he took a fucking straight up flying UFC elbow to the face. So that was just an unfortunate, just a slight miscalculation on the move.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's very high risk shit they're doing. So that's going to happen. So I mean, you gotta give them a little credit there.
And their gimmick is so quick too. They have to move
Everything's
quick.
fast.
Yeah. So anyways, back to Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I agree. That promo was fire, and just what I've been liking about this is there is a lot of history between those two, and I love the showing their history of championship matches. So we got one on Raw, and then we got one on SmackDown, their TLC match, and it's just I love because this is 20 years of history basically, right?
And
they faced each other for the first time for the title in 2009, which is crazy, I think is what they said.
Yeah. I'm trying to think too. I'm totally fucking spacing. This is how rough SmackDown was last night because I'm totally spacing on that video package. Who won that TLC match?
Randy Orton.
Okay, Orton did.
It was,
okay, yeah,
it was
hyping up his thing. That's I figured, but I could not remember. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what the all-time record is. I feel like Cena's got to be up because he was always the face.
Yeah.
So Cena's got to own it. So I wonder if that plays into anything. Could we actually fucking see Cena lose a title next weekend?
I don't think so. But like I said, we got Money in the Bank coming up where Cena could easily win that and get the title right back.
I know. But I just also don't. I feel like 16 stood for so fucking long. I just don't know if it's realistic to have Cena go 17, 18 within 3 months, essentially. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, oh, fuck. And that's, again, going back to what I said last week, that's why I'm like, fuck about the timing of this. Because I want this to happen so bad, but I just want it to be realistic for Orton to actually possibly win and have that match be like, oh fuck, I don't know what's gonna happen. But right now I just still feel like I'm like, Cena's gonna win this fucking match.
You know what I read, what the internet is saying would be just ultimate karma and would fit with John Cena killing or trying to ruin wrestling is do what Randy Orton did and slap the ref right away in their championship match and get DQ'd.
That would be interesting. I had thought it's not that same vein, but I thought it would be interesting also to potentially see Cena punt kick Orton.
Oh, that would be interesting
because that would also protect Orton in a way too.
Yeah,
yeah. I like the DQ idea though. Also,
we would hate it.
I know, but what if we got both?
Yeah, what if he DQs and then just
Cena slaps him, Orton approaches him, right? He gets hit with an FU, and then I'm not calling it what it's supposed to be called. It's an FU. Then he hits him with that, and then he punt kicks Orton.
Yeah,
takes Orton out for a little bit, and then maybe we do see Orton come back and win the 15th.
Maybe
a little later down the line.
We'll hate it, but also love it at the same time.
That's a DQ I could live with because there's history there, there's storytelling, there's long-term storytelling, there's potential future storytelling within that as well because that's not going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
So that's one that I could get on board with. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That was mine. I don't know what you have left. I only have one thing left, and you already know what it is. So.
I got one more, and then we got that.
Yeah.
Jay versus Logan Paul. How are you feeling about that?
I don't hate it.
I think the match will be good.
I think the match is going to be good.
I just don't. What I don't like, and we kind of just alluded to it. There's no more. It doesn't feel like anyone's earning a title shot anymore. They're just calling shots, and like there was the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso earned his shot. That's cool.
Yeah.
Drew technically earned his shot and was excluded until solos. You know, like there's just it's hit and miss on who's earning a shot.
I do think it's hard though to argue that Logan Paul, like him or not, hasn't earned it.
Yeah, and he won against AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
And he hasn't lost. He's undefeated at WrestleMania.
Is he?
Yeah. He's 3-0 at WrestleMania, dude.
The fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a part of his whole fucking thing. He's now undefeated. He's I think it's 3-0.
Wow.
Because him and Miz won the first year together before they split.
He kept his US title against Randy and KO.
And then he just beat AJ.
Damn.
I think it's just the 3, isn't it? Either way, I'm pretty sure he said that he's undefeated at WrestleMania.
Damn.
So, because I'm not pretty sure. I know he said that because the first thing that popped in my head was, no fucking way they're going to try to recreate a WrestleMania undefeated streak with Logan Paul.
Maybe they will. I mean,
that would be so fucking disrespectful to The Undertaker.
Hell yeah, it would.
Like, oh my God. You can never do that again. You can't have somebody be undefeated at WrestleMania anymore. You can't do that again. But anyways, with that, the fact that he has won 3 times at WrestleMania, he did just beat AJ Styles, you know, you would argue who is a workhorse of the industry, right? That's why I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's going to be a great match, Logan and Jay. I think, like, realistically, I feel like they've already done more to build this feud to this match. Mm-hmm. Is this at Backlash?
Yeah.
Or Money in the Bank?
No, I think it's Backlash.
Is it Backlash?
Yeah.
Okay. So they've done more to build this in this very short amount of time now, literally 1 episode of Raw, than they did in, like, the month and a half after Royal Rumble build for Jay and Gunther.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they've already done enough. Like, they've each gotten the upper hand now in the same night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it feels personal. And so like I don't hate the angle. I think Paul is realistically, I think it's the perfect person for Jay to have his first title defense against.
Yeah.
Because it's a win-win with Jay winning and defending and retaining.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, true.
It's not going to hurt Logan Paul. He's already lost in these big time matches and look at him, you know? So it's not going to like destroy his career where like if it was Braun Breaker, that might be a little bit more impactful, you know,
agreed.
Where with Logan, he is a fucking star.
Yeah.
So like, it's not going to kill him.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Could there have been better options? Maybe. I don't know who off the top of my head, but
I mean, looking at the landscape right now, I know one.
Yeah. So,
and can we talk about jump scare? Fucking Logan's punch to Jay.
Oh my God, yeah, that literally came out of nowhere.
Like I knew
that fit the title of last week's episode.
I knew
out of nowhere.
Something was gonna happen
because it lingered. The camera lingered on
it, and then it looked like he was turning. I was like, okay, maybe nothing.
I know,
and then
it was like, bam, whoa,
and it was loud. I jumped. I legit jumped.
It was legit. It was legit. It was legit.
All right, that brings us to our last talking point.
The thing I called. I will introduce this, Tim.
It was so good. Well, it's your talking point, and
I guess technically, yes.
Technically,
it is our talking point. Though.
It is.
We both
knew
have it.
We knew it.
We talked beforehand. We were saving this bad boy to the end because it is with everything else. Which actually, it's kind of makes me feel better about this week of wrestling because we just had some really good conversations about it.
Yes, we did.
Right.
Yeah.
So bad or good, it's giving us good shit to talk about on the show.
Yep.
Right? So that makes me feel better about the week in wrestling because we were able to save this and still have really good conversations before this specific talking point.
Yep.
But this is hands down the biggest thing happening in wrestling right now.
Yep.
WWE. That's where I speak from.
I would say all of wrestling.
All of wrestling. Perfect. I called it to a point. I did say it would be for WrestleMania next year, which
But
I think
everything you've said about what that feud would be was verbatim what they said out.
it is.
On
it
Raw.
was for sure. And I still think what I said last week stands
I
true.
think it could.
I think this could lead to a year from now. I mean, it would be the perfect build, right? They've planted seeds before. Now you get the confrontation shortly after WrestleMania. You're going to end up with Sami versus Braun.
You know how this could. I mean, how about you talk about what it is, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. True. So
We know what we're talking
yes,
about.
That's true. Well, anyone that watches our show that's interested in this should be fucking watching wrestling, so they know what we're talking about too. But if not, they have skipped forward through the watermarks to the Blockbuster section already. We get Seth and Braun and Paul out in the ring. They're talking, yada yada yada, and Sami Zayn's music hits. And I instantly texted you. And I was like, I'm fucking good at my job, Tim. I knew it. Now I'm a year out from when I said it was going to happen.
You're a year early.
But I called it. Just the fact that it's Sami being the first one to confront Seth. I was like, no fucking shit. We just talked about this 2 days ago. And then for the promo to go the way that it went, and like you said, literally almost everything that I said for the reasoning behind why I thought Seth would main event WrestleMania next year came up.
Yep.
It's the history. It's the fact that Seth was fucking mad and hated Roman and the bloodline because of all their shit, and then he hated that Sami and them went back and partnered with Roman at War Games and all this. And then Sami called him out and was like, dude, you're doing the same fucking thing right now. You
got Paul Heyman.
Yeah, you literally have Paul Heyman. Like, you're doing the same thing. And it's this God complex, right? And boy, did that lead to a fucking little bit of like a it was a lingering thing throughout the night because they gave Sami an ultimatum. And not even an ultimatum. They just gave him an out.
Yeah.
Because Seth was like, I love you. I don't want something bad to happen to you. Paul can set you up, go to SmackDown. He could set you up with a world title shot. Which is fucked up. And the fact that Sami called him out for it was even fucking
so
better,
good.
man. I was like, Sami is your fucking, like, he's Mario. I know that's so fucking weird to randomly say. Okay, I get that. But he is. Think about it, dude. He's your fucking everyday, average Joe working man that becomes a hero. Mm-hmm. That was Mario. Yeah. Mario was a fucking plumber, right?
Yeah.
He's just your average Joe, down on his luck type dude that all that just shit happens, and all of a sudden he's fucking Mario. Mm-hmm. That's Sami Zayn, man. He is your fucking dude. He is the guy that you are like, oh yeah, I will. You could get behind him. He is a better version of Daniel Bryan. I know that's tough, but when he wins that fucking championship, you're gonna be saying it with me, Timmy.
I'll give you
because it has eluded him.
It's long.
It has eluded him longer than I can't think of anyone that it's eluded longer than other than the individuals that never won a world heavyweight championship.
Yeah, no,
right?
I agree. I agree with you.
But I also don't know out of all of those individuals if there's anyone more deserving than Sami fucking Zayn.
Yeah.
Right. So just all of it, dude. It was fucking amazing.
From beginning to end.
From the start of Raw to
the
the end of Raw.
This is how
chef's kiss
storyline
picture
should go.
fucking perfect.
It literally, this is.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do this? This
dude.
feels WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like,
which is
bigger
why
than WrestleMania.
Which is why I still feel like
it could happen.
It could happen because it like all kind of laughy haha jokes aside about the fact that like I called it or whatever and I said it for WrestleMania next week. I think this legitimately has it has the presence to last.
Yeah.
Like,
And
this is a storyline that has that fucking gusto to be able to fucking be like, hey, we're planting this now. We're gonna end it. Oh, but it's not over, and it could come back.
What I wanted to say, but then I was like telling you we need to tell the audience what we're talking about was, what if yes, he's taken out, then they do the draft and split, and Sami gets moved over to SmackDown, wins Royal Rumble. He's gunning after Seth Rollins, WrestleMania.
Oh, and that's his world title.
It can happen.
Sorry, you want a little extra.
Off, yeah,
it's so good.
There you go. But that would be incredible. You got this stuff, you planted the seeds, and then you let it grow, and you do, and he ends up on the other show like they offered him.
Dude, yeah, but what adds even more to that then is he ends up on the other fucking show without a world title shot.
Yep.
Like, that just fucking adds to this.
It just puts the sting on it.
Yeah, it does. Like, he gets fucking just wrecked.
Cena ain't gonna choose Sami.
Yeah, right? No, he gets fucking wrecked. Then he still ends up on the other brand, but now he's at the bottom having to fight his way up.
Yeah.
And then he wins the Rumble.
He needs to win the Rumble.
Dude, what if this all happens sooner than we think because it's happening right now? What if Sami wins Money in the Bank? There's three things throughout the year that guarantee you a world title shot.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber. Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber are back to back.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank's the long play.
That would be good.
Money in the Bank's the long play.
Go for any title you want.
Yeah, dude.
He's gonna choose Tiffy time. Oh, sorry.
Sami Zayn versus Tiffany Stratton. Hey, it's 2025. We don't judge.
No, but seriously,
dude, it's this. I don't know that since we've been doing this podcast, I've been more excited about a storyline.
That I 100% agree.
That's
We've covered
fucking
a lot of
saying something.
good storylines.
We're talking Cena, Orton right now. We're talking Cena coming back for a fucking farewell tour. Cena turning heel.
Yep.
Right?
Selling his soul.
We're talking Punk versus Drew. Punk versus Seth. War Games with the Bloodline. So many.
But you know the recurring
things.
theme throughout our 48 episodes? We talk a lot about Sami.
You're goddamn right we do.
We love the Sami.
It's me, a Mario. I stand by that comparison.
It
makes fucking sense.
I like it.
It makes sense. Dude, I am... Oh, man. I'm so stoked.
What's cool about this, though, is... And I think we're entering a new era, and it's the bad guy era, and I think fans are kind of like liking the bad guys right now. And
yeah.
Seth Rollins is doing that tweener line, and he's filling that role so well where you believe what he's saying. Like, he cares.
Was doing the tweener. No longer a tweener.
Well, end of the episode sure.
The end of Raw solidified. That motherfucker is a full-blown heel when he stomped Sami.
But
full-blown.
His method to his madness.
You are the chosen one. He just went full fucking Vader on that bitch.
But his point is,
oddly
we don't
enough,
want
Sami Zayn kind of looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He does.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but I can't stop. I can't stop thinking about it.
But he's fighting, or he says he's fighting for exactly what we've been complaining about. The Roman Reigns who just up and leave and come back for big moments, and Seth Rollins is always there. So it's kind of hard to root against him, but then he's beating up our boy Sami.
I know. He is that... Seth might be the perfect fucking villain.
Yes.
Because it's like Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, right? Like you get emotionally, like you understand what the fuck he's doing and what he's saying.
Yeah.
Do you are you okay with it?
Yeah.
No. But you fucking get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's I feel like with that fucking stomp to Seth, that stomp to Sami from Seth, that put him right there with the Emperor.
Yeah.
And put him right there with fucking Sauron and Voldy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck, dude.
Can we just talk about how
Sammy's Harry Potter.
Braun Breaker is a big bad too? He's a monster.
Yeah,
We thought he was a monster before.
Yeah.
It's coming out more.
Braun's Nagini.
That's
Seth's Voldemort. Braun's Nagini. And Paul Heyman's the fucking rat. God, I'm such a Harry Potter nerd. Fuck. I can't help it, though. That's the truth. That's everything. The only difference is Sammy's also Ron Weasley. It's because of the gingerness.
the gingerness.
The gingerness
Yeah.
about him.
All right.
But he could be Harry and you could be Ron. And I would love every second of that. Got a little off track there. Banger of the week, Tim. Banger of the week. What do you have?
Seth, Sami, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman. It doesn't get much bigger than that, and it's easily you said it. This is the most excited I've been for a storyline. This is what the decline of the bloodline, like leading into WrestleMania 39. Like it was that big, and this is the starting, and it already feels huge.
Yeah, dude, it does. And we had shit. That's the first one. Be proud of me. We're almost done with belts, and I just yawned for the first fucking time. And I told you earlier how shitty I've been sleeping. Don't give me no shit now.
He digresses.
I read, and this bounces off of my question, the second question from last week, the one that I posed about it feeling like it's like turning into I don't even want to say evolution anymore because I don't want to compare it. I don't want to like put that title on it because they're their own fucking thing, and they're that I truly believe that, and I really feel like it because like none of the other factions that we did kind of refer to have ever had that. None of them had a mouthpiece, and that's Paul Heyman. I referred to Paul Heyman as kind of the Ric Flair-esque guy of the group just because he's the older one. More of a manager type role, even though Rick was still wrestling and he did wrestle throughout the entirety of Evolution, but he was kind of that mentor.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I put him where I put him. But Paul is truly the mouthpiece and the mentor and the brains.
But then you also got Rollins, who's a mouthpiece in itself, too.
Yeah.
You got two people that can swirl stories together.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. But so I don't want to like try to compare them to other factions. And I think part of this is that question was, who do you think will be the fourth? I said the Randy Orton, right? But just in general, who do you think would be the fourth? And we also said like maybe there could be fucking two more people. Who knows? I've also read that there are no plans to add anybody else to this right now. Could that change in the future? Obviously, yes. But there are, as of right now, there are no plans to add anybody else, which makes it even more fucking interesting. I think that it's the three of them, right? Like that's a tag team, right? Like that's a fucking tag team. That's two wrestlers and a manager. That's a tag team, but it feels like a fucking 6-person faction.
It does.
It's so crazy.
It does.
So no, dude, that I mean, it makes 100% sense to me. That's the banger of the week for you. I went a little bit. This is gonna shock you. I actually picked something from SmackDown, and it wasn't Orton's promo. And I went because I didn't do like we were opposite last week.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling about this week, so I was like, I'm gonna do a match.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed, especially after how you kind of didn't like the return last week. I really liked Aleister Black versus The Miz.
It was a good match.
I thought the match was fantastic. I thought that was the cherry on top kind of thing for the reintroduction last week. Like if the reintroduction was just what it was last week and nothing else happened on top of it, then I would have agreed with you that it was kind of like a, what the fuck was that? But having it be what it was last week and so brief, but like I said, it was like no, this is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got the match where, have you ever seen a motherfucker cartwheel out of the fucking, his finish? God damn it.
The skull
crushing finale. Yeah. And like he cartwheeled perfectly out of it and then just stood there looking at him like, are you fucking kidding me? The Miz is hitting he's always done those kicks.
Yeah.
He does those kicks and he starts laughing at him.
That was cool for sure.
There were so many moments. And then I thought the icing of this whole segment, the whole match, everything, the lead up to it, because the Miz's fucking promo backstage was great too. I thought the whole thing was awesome, but then the fucking icing to it was Carmelo slides into the ring and Aleister Black just fucking sits down cross-legged and just stares at him. Mm-hmm. And then they just stare at each other down as Carmelo realized, oh, fuck. And kind of, but I feel like that, like, set up.
Yeah.
We're going to get Carmelo versus Aleister Black, which is going to be a fucking insane match, dude.
Yes.
Like, The Miz is fantastic. One of the best to ever fucking do it, right? One of the longest to ever do it. He's got to be pushing up into that, that echelon of people to have one of the longest in-ring active careers without taking extended times off.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. That match was great. But the thing that put this over the edge to me and was like, I'm going to put this as my banger, was because of the future.
Yeah.
For it. Like,
yeah.
Carmelo versus Aleister Black. What a fucking great way to push Carmelo too.
Absolutely.
He's going to lose. I'll be shocked if he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's probably going to lose, but what another fucking great way to put Carmelo on the map.
Yeah.
And give him a match to be able to just fucking prove it and show himself and hopefully put him back in the fucking US title picture or whatever.
Exactly.
Right. Or even potentially with the acquisition of AAA and like maybe Nathan's right and they do bring back a cruiserweight-esque type fucking championship, something to get these guys more fucking screen time and make it more meaningful.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just thought I thought the whole thing was from start to finish was absolutely beautifully done. I thought it was great. Yeah. So I wanted to give the shout out there and give the kudos where it was due.
I like that. That brings us to the belts question of the week. I posed this one. I had a post come up across my Instagram from Chris Van Vliet's Instagram. And
shout out.
And it was a post of give me your seven wrestlers for these following questions. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask them and we'll just go back and forth. So the first question is wrestler that made you fall in love with wrestling. What started it all, Ryan?
I've dressed up as him. I've hit you with his move. We've talked about him. He's probably, I would argue, he might be the number one wrestler that we talk about on this podcast, and that's Jeff fucking Hardy.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He, like, when I think back to my earliest years of comprehension of wrestling and remembering and retention and all of it, he's there. Mm-hmm. It's Jeff.
Yeah.
It's Jeff, it's Stone Cold, it's The Rock, it's Taker, Shawn, Triple H, but it was Jeff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, all the other ones, Taker excluded because he's his own fucking character too, but, I mean, I was like 6 years old. The Undertaker was fucking scary. Jeff was, not to sound cheesy, he was an enigma.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, it was watching him do what he did in the ring, watching him dress the way he dressed, just everything. Matt included, but Jeff so much more so.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? I don't know, man. It was just like, there's a reason to this day why Jeff is number one for me. Mm-hmm. Always has, always will be.
Yeah.
He's the one that made me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
What about you?
I got Stone Cold. He was just larger than life. His character was basically what we just saw on Raw, where he started the show and his storyline built throughout the episode. We were watching him basically in that Attitude Era, and it was
and he's I mean, fuck, dude. I don't know that there's many people that would argue against this. He's the reason WWE won.
Oh yeah.
right? Like, I mean, there are other people that you could put into that category, right? And rightfully should.
Yeah.
But I would argue that Stone Cold still could have done it. I don't know that any of the others could have without Stone Cold.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Does that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
no, I agree.
if without Stone Cold, without WCW shitting on Steve Austin, right? Because that's what led him to being like, yeah, fuck this place.
Yeah.
Vince is offering me this, and yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
Right. Without that occurring, we might not have this podcast right now.
Yeah.
The landscape of professional wrestling could be so different. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those butterfly effect type things where you see in movies where it's like, oh, if this happened, then it changes the future, you know? And it would be a very scary thing to think about what the world would be like if WCW won that.
Not good.
But without Stone Cold, I don't know that they wouldn't have.
No, I mean, even the tipping point of the Monday Night Wars was Mankind winning the title, but Stone Cold was the biggest part of that moment happening, you know? So, yeah, it like I said, yeah, you nailed it. It was just Stone Cold, man.
Dude, I mean, yeah, it makes complete sense.
Yeah. All right. Your newest favorite wrestler.
This one was tough because there are quite a few. But I went with Ray Phoenix.
I like that.
I don't know that there's anyone more entertaining to watch physically in a ring right now. Every time he's in the ring, I almost put him in Santos Escobar, that match, as my banger. Because
that was a good match,
it was a fucking great match.
Yeah.
But it's every time that motherfucker's in the ring, I'm just like, fuck, dude. But that also makes me that much more angry because I want to see him and Penta together. I want to see what they can fucking do. Those fucking tag team moves would be insane.
Yeah.
You know, like, but yeah, I put Ray Phoenix for it.
I put Stephanie Vec here.
Oh yeah.
Fucking
A.
She's just been tearing it up. I think she's the perfect epitome of a wrestler, just proving she's bigger than everything else, and it shows with how quickly she's moved up, because it wasn't that long ago she just debuted in NXT. She's held the NXT North American Women's Championship, the NXT Heavyweight Championship currently, and she's already showing up on Raw now.
Yeah.
Like, it's her rise to fame. She's so good in the ring. Her character's just great. I love it. Love everything she's doing right now. All right. That brings us to a wrestler that always makes you smile.
R-Truth.
I got R-Truth too.
R-Truth. It's, dude, every time that motherfucker's on the screen, it's just comedic gold.
Even last night.
Yes. He is the funniest wrestler ever.
I agree. I agree.
It's so good because it's so...
It doesn't feel
consistent.
Forced. It's consistent.
It's so consistent. It's just his character is just this fucking ding dong. And he loves it. That's the thing, is he fucking loves it. I've seen him on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, and they're just like going through all these moments, and he's just talking about like, oh yeah, no, that one was my idea. This one was the guys in the back. They said, dude, you should do this. He's like, all right. He's just living the fucking dream, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that he's fucking like in his mid 50s, and he looks exactly the same as he did in fucking 2002.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Legit. He just the second he pops up, you know something's gonna be funny. Yeah. And I literally puts a smile.
I love the last 2 weeks that it's him, but then Jimmy's getting involved because Jimmy is also the comedic one of the entire bloodline.
And
right.
Just to kind of circle back, R-Truth's like little imaginary guy was named what?
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
I did not put that together. Oh my god, that's
Jimmy.
fucking hilarious.
All right.
Shit.
Who is your comfort wrestler? Who just how did you describe it before we started this? It was that food you just keep coming back to.
Because it's the comfort food, right?
Yeah.
Like that's because I wasn't sure of like the context of this question when I was thinking of it. I was like, who's your comfort wrestler? So then I feel like obviously all what I was going through is like your comfort food. It's that food that you go to that just always makes you happy.
Yeah.
That always like you can watch this person wrestle no matter the mood you're in, and you're gonna
disappoint.
Yeah, it doesn't disappoint. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Who is that for you?
I feel like I have one that's kind of out of left field,
Okay.
and it might surprise you at first, but it's also gonna fully make sense. And I said Sheamus.
Okay. All right.
Banger after banger after banger. And I mean it's true, and there's a reason why that catchphrase is a catchphrase, and it's because how often or how many times, I'm just even say how often because it's not often ever, it's how many times throughout his storied career now has he disappointed you in the ring?
Not often.
Not very many times,
Not often.
and this one was a tough one for me, like I said, because I wasn't sure, and I was kind of went back and forth a couple times, and I had another one, but I saved him for a different one.
All right.
I went with Sheamus.
All right. I put Seth Rollins. He's like the next coming of Shawn Michaels. He does not disappoint in the ring. I would argue that I don't know if we've talked about it, but Jericho is like the character that's brought up where you give him anything, he takes that character
And runs. Yeah.
Seth Rollins has done the same.
Yeah.
And I would argue better in the ring. Not better on the mic. It's neck and neck, but Jericho's really good on the mic. But I would say Seth Rollins.
I would give Seth the edge in the ring. I
Yeah.
would give Jericho the edge on the mic, I think.
But it's just he is so good at what he does, and he makes everything just you got to watch it, and it's just so believable. So
Yeah.
Seth Rollins was my comfort wrestler. You know he's on TV. You know something's good's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Come,
for sure.
wrestler that you missed the most. I thought this was a tough question for me, but then it was easy when I thought about it.
It was I feel like it was only tough for me when I overthought it after I wrote down my answer, but then I stuck with my answer because when I first read that, and I don't know, again, context, I read this as like the wrestler dead.
Yeah, that's how
I took it. And that's the answer I went with. Mm-hmm. Right? Not retired, not,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think you could go that way, but that's
I think you
how
could. I think you totally could. Yeah, 100%. I'm not saying you couldn't take it that way.
Yeah.
Like, you could have a different answer for this, obviously, for whatever context you want it to be in. But I took it. My context was dead. And I instantly was like, boom. And I wrote it. I think that was the first answer I wrote out of all 7. Mm-hmm. Because it was just like, yeah, easy. And then I started to kind of overthink. I started to second guess my own answer. And I was like, fuck, are there others that I might fuck? I don't know. And I was like, no, there's not. Mm-hmm. There's no one that I miss more watching wrestle than Eddie fucking Guerrero. Mm. Hands down. There's nobody that I would prefer to have back than Eddie. There is a very close second, very fucking close second that I will be curious to see if it happens to be your answer, maybe. But Eddie. Mm. Eddie's the one. What was yours?
I almost put Eddie, and then I changed because it's Bray Wyatt.
That was the second.
Yeah,
I was wondering, man.
Eddie.
So we're literally the same. It's Eddie and Bray. Like, those are the two that were like, fuck.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two most emotional I've ever been to a wrestler passing.
Yeah. I was very emotional with Eddie, but Bray, even to this day, like, pops up in my head, and I get emotional about it. And it's just, he in such a short time. I know it wasn't like a short career, but also very short time in the wrestling world, and he had that big of an impact. And so, yeah.
But you could and not that it's an argument. I'm just saying, like, Eddie was kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was, I think, longer in the wrestling world, but he also had obviously the generations of his family before him. But his time in the spotlight in the wrestling world
he didn't start till 2003, and he died
2006
or 7, 6.
I think it was 6 because then Benoit was a 7.
Yeah, I think it was
07 or 08.
Quickly right after. So yeah.
Yeah, so it was, you know, I mean, Eddie's fucking prime. Like, he started and died in his prime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like legit. Like, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And Bray was number 2 for me on that list because it was like his just fuck, dude. Yeah.
I think this is the toughest of the 7 questions, at least for me. Wrestler you would protect with your whole life.
Okay, I want context again. So this is why this was hard for me, because I'm just reading it, right? And I know it was a post, and you said you were too.
Yeah, no, this is how it was posted. So
I at least want context into how you took this question, because I think this might have been.
I would say
this and the comfort were the 2 hardest questions.
I would say this is protecting a character.
Okay, okay, and that's how I took this.
Yes,
that's how I took it. I said The Undertaker.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because like to this day, fucking hate that they ended the streak.
Yeah.
Or we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Right. I hate that they ended the streak. It meant nothing to end it. It did nothing. Literally, it did absolutely zero for anybody to end the streak.
Yeah.
At all. And I don't know that it ever would have. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like, and The Undertaker's character is, I don't even know if it's arguable at this point. It's the most iconic character in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah. I agree.
Right?
I think it should have just,
like, the streak should have stayed alive. The Undertaker himself. I love the fact that, like, Mark Calloway is protecting that to this day. Because he will not, like he has said, like, he just showed up on NXT the other day. As who?
As Mark.
Mark or Badass.
Yeah.
Right? Every time we've seen him since his final moment as the Dead Man, he has been
the badass.
Undertaker.
Yeah.
He hasn't been Dead Man. Because Dead Man was the longest running thing. He was Badass for a few years. If that. Right? It was like 2000 fucking 1, maybe 2, maybe 3.
It was between WrestleMania 16, because he wasn't on that WrestleMania. So WrestleMania
16 was 2000.
18, 19. So 3 years, because then at 20, he was the Dead Man.
Okay.
Again.
Oh, yeah. So
3
years, right?
Was the badass.
The rest of his fucking career, he was the Dead Man.
Yeah.
Right? And he is protecting that. And he has said that he will not come back as that character.
I like that.
That character is retired. And it's because that character fucking means something. That character means everything to the business. He is the most iconic, the most influential ever in the history of the business. So that's how I went. That's where I went with it.
All right. Mine is Cody Rhodes.
Oh.
When he came back to WWE, it was just, there was a shift in the wrestling world. It was,
yeah, dude, there was.
I think a lot of fans would agree, just leading up into that WrestleMania, a lot of people are ready to give up on WWE, and him coming back really changed that. And his character feels like an Austin, feels like a Hogan, feels like all those big characters mixed into one.
Yeah.
And it's led to this renaissance in
Yeah.
making wrestling cool again, and it's felt epic, and he toes the line between doing the right thing all the time, but also will do anything, and I just like that. I love that. So I think Cody Rhodes would be that one.
That's a great fucking choice too. I think like we took it in the same vein of like a character, but we also took it in completely separate
Different
veins
ways, yeah.
of like yours is like the most meaningful now.
Yes.
And mine is like the fucking history books.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like what made wrestling what it is today, and yours is like what's keeping wrestling what it is and for the future. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's a fucking good question.
And then last but not least, and I feel like we got the same answer for this one, wrestler you're rooting for the most.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Sammy fucking Zayn,
Sami
man.
Zayn.
There's nobody more deserving. Fuck! And I don't want it to be that we have to wait until next year's WrestleMania, but I also kind of do now because I called it. And what we got this last week on Raw, and I'm like, ooh, this could be really cool in a year from now to be like, I fucking knew it.
Which,
But that motherfucker needs world championship gold around his waist. Not tag, not IC, not US, not NXT, not blah, blah, blah. World heavyweight or WWE. Fuck WWE. World heavyweight title around his waist. Because he needs that big motherfucking gold.
I will say the second he wins the world title, it's going to surpass what I think we both said the same thing, but Jeff Hardy winning the title. That was like, it was a belts question of the week. What was the biggest moment?
Yeah. And we both
And
said
I
Jeff,
think Sami
right?
Zayn surpasses that.
Oh.
And that's going to be hard because you're just saying.
Fuck me. That's tough. And I get what you're saying.
But it's a story.
I get what you're saying.
It's a story without being written, but now it's being written. Is like he's gotten his title shots, not very many, but the longer he goes without it, it's just insane.
Yeah. No, I like.
But then Jeff Hardy did the same thing too.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
He debuted at what, in 97, 98, and then didn't get his title till 2009.
Yeah.
We're going off on a tangent now.
No. It's going to be quick. I totally get that. The reason I would argue against that, and just again, Jeff Hardy is very near and dear to me. Sami, I think, has been viewed as that caliber throughout his career. I don't know that there's anyone that would like look at Sami and be like, no, he's not worthy of a world championship. Jeff,
Vince McMahon would.
Oh fuck! Well, he doesn't count as a human being anymore. Jeff, nobody really fucking thought that. Almost entirely until he hit that swanton on both of them and won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where like I 100% get what you're saying and that connection. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I could say that it would surpass.
I will
it,
counter
though.
argue you, and you can disagree.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
that's what the show is about.
But Jeff Hardy, like, yes, had a story into it, but we're already planting seeds for Sami's. Like, there's a physical wrestling storyline going into it already, and he alluded to it on Raw. He's just like, how dare you dangle that? You know that's what I want. And it's gonna, I mean, really, Elimination Chamber, when he went against Roman Reigns, and I know you said you didn't believe he was gonna win, I did, but that really was the starting point of me going, I want to do a podcast about wrestling. I want to, because of that storyline.
Yeah.
Because it was magical. There was magic in the air. There was a glimmer of hope that he would win. And I was just like, dude, I'm back to that 97 when I started watching wrestling. And I got chills. I was just, it brought me back into the kayfabe of wrestling of it
Now,
all.
I would. That's totally legit, and I get that. But we would have been saying the same thing in 2009 if podcasts were a fucking thing.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is it's recency bias in that regard. And it's really easy to say, like, that's what made you want to start a podcast. Right? When back then, that was the biggest fucking thing that happened in the entire industry of professional wrestling for us was Jeff winning that fucking title. Yeah. There was nothing bigger than that in the history that we had been watching and in anything since for me. There's nothing that is beaten Jeff winning that.
Surpass, it's definitely going to be on that level.
Dude, I mean, it's right fucking there. I'm just, all I'm saying is, and I think the fact that there wasn't that emotional pull and that push that we're getting with Sami almost makes Jeff's win more triumphant because nobody fucking expected it. Nobody thought Jeff was winning that fucking match, right? The promo on Monday Night Raw just fucking alluded to Sami's winning a fucking World Heavyweight Championship within this next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's where I get what you're saying, but there's also that fucking counter side to it.
We said this would be quick.
I know.
But what if this happens? I'll counter again.
Fuck.
Sami wins Money in the Bank, challenges Seth Rollins,
loses,
who I assume will be a champion down the road because it's written on the wall. Loses, wins the Royal Rumble, and somehow I don't know what will happen, but doesn't get a shot or something, and then has to win the eliminate. Like, it's just build up after build up after build up to get to Seth Rollins, and I don't know. It would just be epic.
Yeah.
I just imagine us how we were when Jay won the Royal Rumble. We were jumping up and down.
Oh yeah,
we were jumping up and down for
I feel
Jeff.
like I feel like Jay winning the Royal Rumble was the first time I've jumped up and down like that since Jeff.
Yeah, so I can only imagine with how much we talk about Sami, would that feel when he wins the title.
Dude, it's gonna be Jay times 1,000.
Yeah.
And it's going to be right up there with Jeff.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm going to pose this question to you guys. What do you think was bigger, Jeff or Sami winning the title?
Let us know.
Let us know.
That brings us to
Blockbusters.
Nailed it. The fuck? All right. Really blending our segments here.
Perfectly.
We have the movie titled The Smashing Machine. The synopsis for this is the movie follows Mark Kerr, the legendary MMA fighter from the no-holds-barred era of the UFC at the peak of his career. He struggles with addiction, winning, love, and friendship in the year 2000. The cast of this is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Mark Kerr, Emily Blunt, and Lindsay Gavin. The release date will be October 3rd of this year, and it will be out in theaters. The trailer for this, and I'm going to start it with this. I watched the trailer. I have no idea who Mark Kerr is.
Me either.
And so I watched the trailer, and the whole time I'm watching the trailer, which this ended up leading me to rewatch it one or two more times, I think 2 more times, was I couldn't get past the look of The Rock in this. I was like,
he's not The Rock.
Yeah.
But you could see him in there.
He is. And I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, he looks so odd. Mm-hmm. Like, he looks really odd in this. And then I looked up Mark Kerr. And I don't know if you did the same thing or not.
Nope.
And I said, oh, shit. Looks almost identical to The Rock in this fucking trailer.
Oh.
Like, they made him look... I mean, there's obviously, like, some differences because you can't ever get it perfect. But they did a pretty goddamn good job of making The Rock look like this dude. So then I was like, oh, okay. So then I went back and rewatched it. And I was like... okay, I feel better about this. Because at first I was like, this is really fucking awkward looking. And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh no, this looks exactly like the fucking guy almost. So you'll have to Google what Mark Kerr looks like next to, I mean, honestly, if you just typed in a picture of him, you're probably going to get immediately a side by side.
Yeah.
They look, I mean, it's pretty fucking good. And they did throughout like the different portions of his career where like he had the hair and it was clean shaven and then he had the goatee and was bald.
Yeah.
And they did it all. And he looked like it was probably as close to spot on as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
Without it being like AI or some shit, right? Like, so it was pretty good.
I thought I loved the trailer. I'm really excited for this one.
Super emotional.
And I love that because Rock has been very typecasted, especially as of, I mean, most of his career. There's few one-offs where he's not The Rock.
Yeah.
This did not feel like The Rock, and he looks totally different in my eyes.
I agree.
And
totally.
It's refreshing. So I'm hyped for this one. It's gonna be a good one, and to your point, it's just there was emotion in it, and just the happy feelings, the sad feelings. So really excited for that.
Next up, we have the movie 40 Acres. The synopsis for this is, in the film, after a plague eradicates all animal life, famine spreads across the globe, leaving society at war and in ruins. But the Freemans are surviving, even thriving, on their ancestral farms so long as they dispatch the occasional raiding party. But what good is surviving the end of the world if it means snuffing out your own humanity? Former soldier Haley made that choice years ago, believing that isolation was the only way to protect her family. She and her partner Galen fled the collapse along with their children, fenced them off from the world, and trained them to fight, and yes, kill. But now Haley's eldest Emmanuel is a young man, and when he meets a young woman in the forest beyond the fence, his need for human contact could place the whole family in jeopardy. The cast is Danielle Deadweiler, Katayam O'Connor, something, and Michael Greyeyes, I think is how that's pronounced.
Yeah.
Or Greyeyes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
God damn it. The release date for this is July 2nd, 2025, so this year, and it will be out in theaters.
Dude, trailer looks crazy.
Yeah,
it's another
looks,
just like post-apocalyptic, and
it felt very much in like a very similar vein as like what we've gotten so far from 28 Years Later.
Yeah.
Right, but it's just not zombies.
Like this
which makes this almost scarier.
Because this is the first time hearing this. I didn't read it at all. I just watched the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And now now the trailer and synopsis kind of fit together, but it was just like, oh, this is another like zombie movie, but it's not. It's just human against human, and it's a cool thing. We've talked on a movie. I'll have to remember what it was because it was similar. It was like,
I don't know if it's the one you're thinking of that I'm thinking of,
but it was the wife was sick, and it was like snow. There was a wolf, and it was like cannibalism.
Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. Not the same one I was thinking of.
We've talked about this.
I was thinking just with the idea that like the son meets this young woman in the forest beyond the fence and says his need for human contact could place the whole family in jeopardy. It reminded me of like a horror version of, was it The End, or I can't remember exactly what the movie was that we covered, but it was the one with Michael Shannon. And it was like they were underground in like this bunker, and it was a musical.
Oh,
it had Tilda Swinton in it, I think, too.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a similar premise in the sense of like this gal showed up,
true,
and they like brought her in, and then there's like kind of starts to create a rift amongst like how they've been surviving, right? And that's kind of, I was like, whoa, it's like similar concept, but totally different thematically.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I love the concept. It looks really good. The trailer again they're really leaning into the anxiety-inducing trailers because this again was just one. You have like very suspenseful music, and then it turns into gun like clock, and it was another like anxiety-inducing trailer. And I'm here for that.
Same. Here we have Deep Cover. The synopsis for this is Deep Cover is a fast-paced action comedy starring Bryce Dallas Howard as Kat, an improv comedy teacher beginning to question if she's missed her shot at success. When an undercover cop, Sean Bean, offers her the role of a lifetime, she recruits two of her students, Orlando Bloom and Nick Mohammed, to infiltrate London's gangland by impersonating dangerous criminals. The cast of this is, again, Orlando Bloom, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sean Bean, and Nick Mohammed. And the release date is June 12th of this year, and it will be out on Prime Video. The synopsis, I don't think, does justice to the trailer for this because the trailer looks fucking hilarious.
It looks so funny.
It looks funny. It looks action-packed. It looks wild. I love the premise of this. I feel like it's fairly unique too. It's kind of standalone in and of itself. I haven't seen a lot of things super similar to this, so it's always kind of refreshing to see something like that.
It's like a comedy version of what the Mandarin was in Iron Man 3 is an actor.
Yeah, right. Playing
this big part. So but this looks like it just goes way above and beyond. So it definitely looks hilarious.
For sure.
I agree. The synopsis does not do this one justice. So check out the trailer for this one.
It looks great. And it's good to see Orlando Bloom back in the fold of things.
You
you don't see him very
a lot.
often. Yeah.
I
feel like he picks and chooses things, which rightfully so.
Good on him.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad to see him.
It was refreshing. Now, will Sean Bean live throughout this one, or is he dead?
He's going to die.
We've talked about it on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure he reads
something involved with the fucking London gangland. There's no way he's surviving this movie, right? Has he ever survived anything? I don't know.
I don't think he does.
He reads the script and says,
I die?
Am I going to die in this?
Rewrite
it. Rewrite it, then I'll take it. Not dead? No? Okay, rewrite it. Make me die.
Then take
yes.
Exactly.
He's died in everything I've ever seen him in.
That brings us over to series.
Once again, I put this on here. I think I did the entire agenda for this part.
I put Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Oh, yeah.
But you put the trailer.
I just added the trailer to it. So series, we got 9 Perfect Strangers season 2. I don't know. Did you ever watch the first season of this?
I have not, but this trailer makes me want to go back and watch that. It was on Hulu.
It's on Hulu,
correct?
yeah.
Yes.
The first season was fucking wild because it was one where I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into with this, but it was like, I don't know. I want to say it was like last summer or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had time to be able to watch a show, and I was just like, oh, this looks whatever, interesting. And I like put it on. I'm watching. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So synopsis for this: 9 new strangers connected in ways they could never imagine are invited by mysterious guru Masha Dimitrenko. I tried to join a transformational wellness retreat in the Austrian Alps. Over the course of a week, she takes them to the brink. Will they make it? Will she? Masha is willing to try anything in the interest of healing everyone involved, including herself. The cast for this show is Nicole Kidman, Murray Bartlett, Dolly De Leon, Christine Baranski, Henry Golding, Mark Strong, Lena Olin, Annie Murphy, Maisley, Richardson Sellers, Eris Aiden, King Princess, and Lucas Englander. The release date for this will be May 21st of this year, and it will be out on, once again, Hulu.
Yeah, the trailer looks wild. It definitely
the first season was wild.
And then I'm because I watched the trailer on YouTube, and I'm reading through the comments, and they're like, didn't know there was going to be a second season after the first, but I'm here for it. So
yeah. No, like same. And I was like kind of shocked when I saw that. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Because the first season, like you can totally see it, but it also ended in a way where you're like, yeah, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
You know, and it also, the first season at least, then when I watched Blink Twice, odd that this is coming up twice in 2 weeks of episodes.
Definitely gave me those vibes.
The first season definitely gives you like weird vibes like that, and then like this, So I'm here for this type of thing for sure.
No, I agree.
And Nicole Kidman,
she's a workhorse right now.
She's a fucking workhorse. She's in everything,
right
dude.
now.
Yeah, and she's so fucking good too. That's the thing. There's only one person on that cast list that I know, like just off looking at. I guess two. I can't picture Henry Golding, but I know his name. Mm-hmm. But Annie Murphy, she was in Schitt's Creek. Yeah. She was the black-haired one that worked at the hotel. That's Annie Murphy.
Okay, yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I'm curious about the first season, so I'm definitely going to go back and watch that.
I'm fact-checking for you right now. I'm totally wrong. Annie Murphy was the sister in Schitt's Creek. Like 95% sure. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Yeah, Annie Murphy is Alexis.
A little bit Alexis.
A little bit Alexis. The better sister. I know, dude. The better sister. The synopsis for this is the terrible things that drive sisters apart and ultimately bring them back together. Chloe, a high-profile media executive, lives a picturesque life with her handsome lawyer husband, Adam, and teenage son, Ethan, by her side while her estranged sister, Nikki, struggles to make ends meet and stay clean. When Adam is brutally murdered, the prime suspect sends shockwaves through the family, reuniting the two sisters as they try to untangle a complicated family history to discover the truth behind his death. The cast of this is Jessica Biel, Elizabeth Banks, and Corey Stoll. The release date is May 29th of this year, and it will be out on Prime Video. Now, the synopsis of this actually does a pretty goddamn good job of really just kind of summarizing the trailer. But also, you got to watch the trailer. Go watch the fucking trailer because it is... wild. It is a ride. Just the trailer itself. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah.
It gives me a Simple Favor vibes, but also, did you ever watch the show on USA with Jessica Biel? The first season, at least, it was called The Sinners.
The Sinners. I watched the first season with Jessica Biel, and it also, to a point, has vibes of Dead to Me.
Oh yeah,
on Netflix too.
Yes,
right. Because
very
like the
much
husband,
so.
Like the husband dies, but that like so many things. Yeah, dude.
I'm really excited for this.
Said, yes.
I've been wanting to put this one on the early development because there was like first look at this, and then I don't know why I never did. But
that's crazy because this was the first thing I saw from it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't see anything about this until I saw it. I popped up and I was like, Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks. Watch the trailer. I didn't read anything about it. Just watch the trailer. I was like, oh shit! Adding this now. And the fact that we actually are outweighing the series portion to the movie portion on the show this week is
wild.
Very rare.
We have usually like one, been very light,
if anything. So I think we have 3 on here this week. So
this one I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah. Bad Thoughts. I'm so excited for this. This stems from one of my reasons for wanting to start a podcast is Two Bears, One Cave with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. I've talked about him quite a few times on here before. This stemmed from Tom Segura. The synopsis for this, so the show's called Bad Thoughts. It's on Netflix. In this 6-episode dark comedic series, Tom Segura navigates unthinkable situations and fantasies within a cinematic world. The cast is Tom Segura.
What?
Christina Pazsitzky, who is his wife.
Like she's in real life?
Yep, real life wife. She's also a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
That's how they like met. Kyra Spencer Cook, Alexis Abrams, Norma Jean, Bob Pack, Sean Middleston, David Pigot, Carla Seneca, and more. The crazy thing is, I actually don't think Bert Kreischer is in this, which is weird because they do so much stuff together. Mm-hmm. But I guess Bert Kreischer also put out his movie The Machine, and Tom wasn't in that, so kind of I guess it makes sense. But the majority of the people that I just mentioned on the cast are all in the comedy world of some form. It will come out May 13th of 2020 of this year, 2025. And again, it is on Netflix.
It's wild, dude.
It's wild. And I love the very just short synopsis, but it also it really does sum up the trailer too. Because it's very like, oh God, I don't even know. Like fucking X-Files meets fuck if I know. I don't know. It's something really dark and funny meets the X-Files. Cause you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. You just get like, I don't know. You got to watch the trailer for this. It's very hard to describe or expand upon.
It just builds on what we've talked. Like, there's a renaissance in just overly violent movies, comedy movies, and our shows, and it's on a rise again. And we're here for the ride because this looks wild.
I just love like the opening scene is when it's him as a sniper and he's saying like the monologue of how he like took the vow he doesn't kill women or children and he's out. Then he makes the shot, but the waitress steps in front and he kills her and he's like, oh fuck. It's so funny.
Again, do not read the synopsis, so I just watched the trailer and I'm like, all right, we go from
what is happening?
A soldier to he's in line for a coffee, for a splash of milk, and I'm just like,
fucking destroys the barista.
I'm excited.
Oh my God, I'm so stoked for this.
This is going to be a good one.
And what's exciting to me about this is I've heard very little, but I've heard consistently about this because I every week I watch the Two Bears One Cave podcast. So it's like I've known the episodes where it's just Bert and another guest host. It's because Tom has been away filming this, and like they've haven't given anything away about it, but like they've talked about like, oh yeah, I'm doing this show for Netflix and you know it's gonna be like this type of style and stuff like that, and I've just been stoked. So when I saw the trailer I was like, fuck yeah, I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
That brings us to Fred, which is follow-up rumors and early development.
Dude, we
yes, this one is so good.
Speaking of fucking just crazy shit coming out, we talked about this last week on the Fred segment, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because wasn't it just...
No,
we
was
didn't have
teaser.
a trailer yet.
It was just... I put it on the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we did have
had
a teaser. That's
trailer.
right. That's right. So we did have... Because we did have the synopsis and everything. We had the synopsis and the teaser, but we were like, it didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah,
you just got
it was
like
very short.
It was just like very short on both sides. Well, we got the full fucking trailer. And Jesus.
You know it's good when he's texting you day of trailer release. Just watch this.
God, dude. This is... I don't know if there's been a more nerve-wracking trailer I've watched in recent memory.
Yeah.
This was like I was watching it at school, like not in class, but like on my prep period, I'm like watching this and I was just like, oh my God. And like the two coworkers that I have that we share prep together on that specific day, they're like looking at me and they're like, what? And I was just like, I don't know. I can't describe what I just saw, and you guys don't like horror movies, so I'm not gonna show it to you because you might have nightmares tonight. and especially because like I guess I'm the weird one. Like I have a kid, but like this stuff doesn't bother me. But like they like all four of my coworkers are like, as soon as we had kids, we had to stop with anything that had to do with kids. Like it just like we just can't watch that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh really? I love it. Am I weird? I don't know. Yeah. But this was fucking wild.
It puts into context like
her walking into the classroom. Fuck off with that bullshit. Oh my God.
This
absolutely not. I'm punching that little fucker square in the face.
The one that put his heads up?
Yeah. Yeah. The only one that looked alive. I'm punching him in the face. And if any of the other ones, punching them too. Don't care. Fuck that. That was some bullshit.
This puts in context the number 17, though. It's a classroom. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
maybe
sure
that's
some schools have 17 kid classrooms.
Sure. When
I'm upwards of 40.
I was gonna say like that's probably not feasible now, but
some places, yeah, I'm sure. You know,
but
wherever this takes place, potentially.
But then they were like, "You're the only classroom." Yeah. These kids disappeared. So, trailer.
Fuck, dude.
Wild.
It's
I'm
creepy
even more
as shit.
excited
Yeah,
to see
same.
it.
I'm stoked. But this, oh my God, this just fucking scary, dude. It's creepy.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Timmy gets to talk.
I get to talk. I brought this up on, I believe it was a previous early development where it was at CinemaCon or something. It got brought up, it had an official title.
Yep.
And so, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Trailer just fits in line with the first two movies. It
looks great.
It's magic heist movie. It's great.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I love these movies.
You talked about Orlando Bloom. It's good to see. It's good to see Isla Fisher. You don't see her in a lot.
Isla Fisher, Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
James Franco.
Yeah.
Fucking good
Woody
Lord, dude.
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. You name it in this. Yeah.
And then you're bringing in new blood to it.
The youngins. You get Morgan Freeman again in this.
It just looks like a
I
fun
would have
ride.
loved to see them bring back Mark Ruffalo.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will.
But, yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
trailer
that
looks
wasn't in
fun.
the trailer.
Trailer looks
Wasn't in the
fun.
trailer.
I'm excited for this
Yeah,
one.
I'm stoked. I love these fucking movies. They've been so much fun to watch over the years, and it's been so long now since we've gotten one.
Yeah.
But the first two came out
Pretty
relatively
quickly.
close to each other.
Yeah.
In at least in regards to where we are now with the third one coming out,
Yeah.
right? Significantly later.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited for this. The trailer just put me right back into it, and I was like,
Exactly.
fuck yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
Dude, we got BlockBuzzin this week as our special segment, and we picked a doozy.
I think we
We
did.
picked a doozy. You had texted me earlier in the week and brought it between Gladiator 2, which is what we ended up going with, and Sinners. And I was like, fuck, if this was this next week, I would have been in.
Yeah.
100% I would have been in. But I just didn't have the fucking time frame to be able to go to the theater and see a movie this week. It was my last week of tennis. I had 3 tennis matches this week. I just couldn't make it work. So we went with Gladiator because it was on streaming. Gladiator 2. And I was, at first I was a little bummed that I was like, fuck, man, between those two,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking watch Gladiator 2. And then I watched it and I said, fuck, I'm happy I watched this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
This movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
And just circle why we chose it. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Give 'em
BlockBuzzin
the deets.
is the segment where we choose a movie that carries some buzz with it. And Gladiator came out in what, 2000, 2001, a Ridley Scott movie.
Yep.
It was award winning. It was a game changer for movies back then. And that
It was
movie,
huge.
holds, is just high regards for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
Fast forward to 2024 when this, officially released, and
Yes.
I think it did a great job
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I would.
blending the two, but also being
Its own thing. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is one of. I would put this towards the tops of sequels
Yeah.
of movies, and I mean, I just all time, like in the sense of like long withstanding sequels.
Yes.
Right. That's
Movies
because
that didn't
that's its
tech-
own category.
Movies
right?
that didn't technically need a sequel, but we're glad they got one.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of like Happy Gilmore, maybe.
Happy Gilmore, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Fucking Anchorman. Like, and I feel like most of those types of movies are fucking comedies.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but you get this one, and they did such a good job of, because dude, I'm gonna be totally honest. I haven't watched the first Gladiator
It's so long.
in fucking
years and years.
like probably 20 years. I'm
wow,
31. Like I wasn't able to drive. I was barely in junior high when I watched the first Gladiator. And I've seen it a few times because I watched it, I was like 2001, I was 7, 8. So like I watched it a few times, but I haven't watched it since. And I still haven't watched it since. And so it was so cool to see all the callbacks, and then them making the connections throughout, because I had zero knowledge of the connections or what the story was going into this. I haven't read much about it, nothing. So watching this, I went in blind, and so I'm happy I did, because I was just like, fuck, I don't know how any of this is connected, And then to find out the connections, I was like, oh fuck, I was finding out all of this as I was watching it, which is the best fucking way to go about it.
Yeah,
And
I'm glad I didn't, because typically when we do these, pretty much every a lot of our BlockBuzzins has been a sequel to something before, and so Joker Folly Ado, I watched the first one,
true.
and we've done a few others, and I've watched it, and I'm glad I didn't. It was really cool to see almost a movie recap, in animation, leading up into at the beginning of the movie. It was very, very well done, and then but then
it was very well done, and it didn't take anything away.
Yeah,
right.
And then,
you said, it still allowed it to be a standalone.
Yeah, and then it did a great job, just little excerpts here and there, going, oh, okay, I see how this ties into it.
Yeah,
the action was great. It had very highs, and it stayed high throughout the whole movie, I thought.
Yeah. No, I did too. I was into it the entire time. It was, I can't say, I watched this with Lainey, because I watched this entirely this morning, and what?
This morning?
Yeah, dog. Yeah. So in my defense, we tried to watch it twice earlier in the week, and Paramount Plus wouldn't work. Oh. It just kept up. We tried to, me and Lindsay, because Lindsay was going to watch it with me for the first fucking time. She was going to watch a fucking movie with me. She always falls asleep. And she was like, no, I'll watch this one. I was like, all right, cool. And we fucking go to watch it on fucking Tuesday night maybe, and we put it on, or we tried to open Paramount Plus, and it was it just popped up with we're having issues right now, and I was like, what the fuck? All right, well, we'll try to watch it later. And then we tried to watch it Wednesday or Thursday, and it was doing the same thing, and I was just like, fuck. So I actually woke up this morning ready to text you.
It's not a quick movie either.
Yeah, it's what, 2.5, something like that. Yeah, 2.5 hours. But I watched all of I watched all but the main event of SmackDown last night. So I was much. I didn't miss much. But I also I didn't have anything else, and I knew today I was home with Lainey until we went to Itana's birthday, because Lindsay went early to go help get everything set up. So I was I'm just home all day. I got to do her nap and stuff. So I was I'm home. So I knew I had time to watch the movie. But I woke up this morning not knowing if Paramount Plus was going to be fucking working. That was the thing where I was I'm going to have to text Tim with my tail between my legs, hey, man, I waited until now to tell you I can't watch that.
I would have given you my login to watch it.
And then it fucking worked. So, digital copy. So it was fucking amazing. I'm so happy we picked this week. I was not expecting it. I was not necessarily excited about it. And now that we've watched it, I'm stoked. So it was great.
I just like anything Roman, Greek, historical.
They did such a good job with it, man.
And it's just the whole idea of just gladiator
Yeah, we got
fighting.
to see Johnny Storm's head fucking dead. That's Joseph Quinn. He's playing Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys were crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
Very wild.
Yeah.
Very, very well done movie. Glad we chose that.
Great.
Blockbusters question of the week. I posed this too, and I thought this was a fun question.
Yes, I agree.
What movie and or show has had an influence on any part of your life?
You will not be shocked by my answer.
And what was it that had an influence?
Harry Potter.
Okay, all right.
I grew up with them, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you did too.
Yeah.
Really? They're the all the main characters are 34 to 35 years old. I'm 31. Mm-hmm. You're 36.
37.
Just turned 37. Freshly 37. So we both kind of were right there with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. The whole thing's going to school and growing up through those years, and I obviously did that along with a couple of years back, but same idea. and I'm a teacher now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was huge for me.
I get that. That's a cool one. I like that. All right, what I chose.
Yeah.
I have some guilty pleasures. I love One Tree Hill, The OC,
Ooh, okay.
Smallville,
Okay.
and what those shows really brought to me was a lot of the influence on the music I listened to growing up and still to this day. And so definitely One Tree Hill, it had a lot of like Fall Out Boy and stuff on there. And so it was just like, I like what I'm hearing in these episodes, and it's built a lot of my music taste. So
Holy
that is
cow.
what I chose.
I don't know why I didn't expect you to go musically with the influence from especially those shows. I mean, like, it makes sense with especially those shows, but like when you were first stating them, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, how did those shows influence your life? And then you said music. I was like, whoa.
Out of left field.
That was got out of left field because I was like, how does Smallville influence Tim's life? Show about Superman and Lois Lane. And then you said that, I was like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Oddly enough, those are every show that you just mentioned. Not things I've ever really watched that much of. One Tree Hill, Smallville, and what, the OC?
The OC, yeah.
Yeah, I've never really watched any of those. I've seen like clips and maybe an episode here and there of Smallville specifically, maybe One Tree Hill, but nothing that I've never really gotten into them.
Yeah.
But now you talk about the music. Fuck.
Music was great.
That's fantastic.
But yeah.
Goddamn, dude. 48.
Around
to 50, man.
Almost to 1 year doing the podcast.
Almost to 1 year. We got to be fucking close.
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was like mid-May when we did our first episode, right?
Yeah. Hell, man.
Cheers, dude.
Let's fucking go.